In the dead of night, a priceless artifact shatters under the dome of an ancient observatory, unleashing whispers of betrayal and hidden fortunes that could topple empires. Welcome to Poirot and the Secrets of the Shattered Observatory, a tale of intrigue where every shadow hides a clue. Grab a cup of tea, settle into your seat, and let the mystery unfold. If you're hooked and enjoying the ride, hit that subscribe button. Your support means the world to us and keeps these stories alive. Chapter 1. The Invitation to Mystery. Friends, let's dive right into the heart of our story. Picture the bustling streets of 1930s London, where the fog rolls in like a veil over secrets waiting to be unveiled. Our hero, the inimitable Hercule Poirot, that meticulous Belgian detective with his waxed mustache and razor-sharp little gray cells, is enjoying a rare moment of quiet in his elegant apartment. He's sipping his tisane, flipping through the morning paper, when a knock echoes at the door, sharp, insistent, like the tick of a clock counting down to chaos. This chapter sets the stage for our grand adventure, introducing Poirot's world and the enigmatic summons that pulls him into the web of the shattered observatory. We'll explore his daily routine, the arrival of the mysterious letter, and tease the first hints of the puzzle ahead, with practical insights into how Poirot's methods can apply to solving everyday riddles in your own life. Poirot, ever the creature of habit, rises each day at precisely 7 o'clock. His valet, George, prepares his breakfast with military precision: 2 eggs boiled for exactly 3.5 minutes, toast cut into neat triangles, and a pot of his favorite herbal infusion. It's in these small rituals that Poirot finds order in a disordered world, a tip we can all borrow. Start your day with a structured routine to sharpen your mind, just as he does. As he settles into his armchair, the newspaper headlines scream of economic turmoil and distant wars, but Poirot's eyes skim them with mild interest. He's retired, or so he claims, from the whirlwind of crime-solving that once defined him. Yet deep down, his little gray cells itch for stimulation, like a dormant volcano rumbling beneath the surface. That's when the envelope arrives, delivered by a breathless messenger boy who vanishes into the fog as quickly as he appeared. The paper is thick, cream-colored, embossed with a golden crest depicting a starry dome, an observatory, perhaps. Poirot's fingers, gloved in kid leather, slice it open with a silver letter opener. Inside, the note is typed, anonymous, but the words leap off the page. "Monsieur Poirot, your unparalleled deductive powers are urgently required at Eldridge Observatory. A catastrophe has struck, and lives hang in the balance. Come at once. Discretion is paramount." No signature, no return address, just an enclosed train ticket for that very afternoon to a remote village in the English countryside. Intriguing, non? This is classic Poirot bait, a mystery wrapped in anonymity, pulling at his curiosity like a fish on a line. Now, let's break this down a bit, as if we're detectives ourselves. In real life, when you receive an unexpected invitation or message, pause and analyze the details, just like Poirot. Notice the paper quality, expensive, suggesting wealth. The typing, flawless, no smudges, indicating a modern machine and a careful sender. And the urgency, it's designed to provoke immediate action, a psychological trick to bypass rational thought. Poirot, of course, doesn't rush blindly. He summons his old friend, Captain Hastings, that loyal but somewhat bumbling companion, for a second opinion. Hastings bursts in, all enthusiasm and no subtlety, exclaiming, "By Jove, Poirot, this sounds like a real corker! An observatory, stars, telescopes, perhaps a mad astronomer gone rogue." Together, they pore over the note under a magnifying glass. Poirot points out the faint watermark, a rare astronomical symbol, linking it to the famed Eldridge family, wealthy patrons of science who've built observatories across Europe. Here's a practical tip for you viewers. When facing a puzzle, gather your allies, discuss, debate, and let different perspectives illuminate the shadows. Hastings suggests it might be a prank, but Poirot shakes his head, his eyes twinkling. "Non, mon ami,
This is no jest. The ticket is first class, the paper scented with a hint of lavender, feminine perhaps. And observe the postmark. It's from a village near the observatory, posted yesterday. Someone planned this meticulously. As the afternoon sun filters through the curtains, Poirot packs his suitcase with his usual flair. Several changes of immaculate suits, his mustache wax, and a small notebook for jotting observations. He instructs George to forward any mail and boards the train at Paddington Station, the whistle piercing the air like a siren's call. The journey takes him through rolling hills and misty moors, the landscape shifting from urban grit to rural serenity. En route, Poirot engages in his favorite pastime, people-watching. In the dining room, he overhears snippets of conversation, a nervous young woman clutching a locket, muttering about broken glass and stolen stars, an elderly gentleman with a telescope case grumbling about family curses. Coincidences? Poirot thinks not. Everything connects in the grand tapestry of crime. Arriving at the quaint village of Eldridge Hollow, Poirot is met by a chauffeured car, a sleek Rolls-Royce no less, driven by a stoic butler named Wilkins. The drive to the observatory winds up a hill, past ancient oaks that whisper in the wind. The building itself is a marvel, a grand dome of glass and iron, perched like a crown on the landscape, designed to gaze at the heavens. But as they approach, Poirot's keen eyes spot the first sign of trouble, shards of glass glittering on the ground, the dome partially shattered as if struck by a meteor from within. Wilkins, tight-lipped, escorts him inside, where a gathering of suspects awaits in the opulent drawing room. Here we meet our key players, each a potential piece in the puzzle. Lady Amelia Eldridge, the observatory's patroness, a widow in her 50s, with sharp features and a lavender-scented handkerchief. Ah, that matches the note. She's distraught, claiming the shatter happened during a private viewing last night, destroying a rare celestial map worth millions. Then there's Dr. Victor Hale, the brilliant but arrogant astronomer, his hands bandaged from flying glass. Miss Clara Beaumont, the young assistant, fidgety and evasive, her locket hiding a photo of a mysterious man. And Sir Reginald Thorne, a rival collector, who arrived uninvited, smirking as if he knows more than he lets on. Poirot greets them with his trademark bow, introducing himself modestly. "I am Hercule Poirot, at your service." The group recounts the event, a gala under the stars, telescopes trained on a comet, when suddenly, crash, the dome fractures, shards raining down, and the priceless map vanishes in the panic. No one saw the culprit, or so they claim. Poirot begins his methodical questioning, starting with Lady Amelia. "Madame, tell me, who had access to the dome?" She hesitates, mentioning only trusted staff, but her eyes dart to Dr. Hale. A lie? Poirot notes it mentally. For us at home, here's a tip. Watch body language, averted gazes, fidgeting hands, their windows to the soul. As the evening deepens, Poirot inspects the scene. The shatter patterns suggest force from inside, not out. Sabotage, perhaps, with a hidden explosive or a well-aimed projectile. He finds a shard with a smudge of grease, unusual for a pristine observatory. And under a table, a dropped button from a man's cufflink, engraved with a thorn motif. Sir Reginald's. The clues mount, each a thread in the web. But danger lurks. As Poirot bends to examine, a telescope swings loose, nearly striking him. Accident, or warning. Wrapping up this opening chapter, we've met our detective, received the call to adventure, and glimpsed the shattered scene with its cast of suspects. Poirot's little gray cells are whirring, piecing together the fragments. But what dark secret ties the observatory to hidden fortunes and betrayals? Hold tight as the mystery thickens in the chapters ahead, where alliances fracture and truths emerge from the shadows.
Chapter 2. Shadows in the Starlight. The air in Eldridge Observatory grows thick with tension, the shattered dome casting jagged shadows across the polished floors. Hercule Poirot, his green eyes glinting like polished emeralds, stands in the grand drawing room, studying the faces before him. Each person, Lady Amelia, Dr. Hale, Miss Clara, and Sir Reginald wears a mask of composure, but beneath, Poirot senses currents of fear and deceit. The missing celestial map, a parchment said to chart a forgotten constellation tied to ancient riches, is the heart of this enigma. Tonight, Poirot begins to unravel the threads, probing deeper into the motives and movements of those gathered under the broken stars. The night is young, and the observatory's secrets are restless, waiting to be exposed. Poirot requests a private tour of the observatory, insisting on seeing the dome itself. Wilkins, the butler, leads him up a spiral staircase, his footsteps echoing like a metronome in the silence. The dome chamber is vast, its shattered glass ceiling open to the night sky, stars winking coldly above. Telescopes, some askew from the chaos, stand like sentinels around a central pedestal where the celestial map once rested. Poirot kneels, his gloved fingers brushing the floor, finding faint scratches near the pedestal, marks of a struggle, perhaps, or something dragged in haste. He notes a peculiar scent, not lavender this time, but something acrid, like burnt metal lingering near the broken glass. Back in the drawing room, Poirot gathers the group, his voice calm but commanding. "Mes amis, let us reconstruct the evening. Lady Amelia, you hosted this gala. Tell Poirot, what was the purpose?" Her lips tighten, but she speaks of a rare comet, visible only once every century, drawing astronomers and collectors alike. The map, she insists, was displayed as a centerpiece, its value known to all. Poirot nods, then turns to Dr. Hale, whose bandaged hands twitch under scrutiny. "Monsieur, you were adjusting the main telescope when the dome shattered, oui?" Hale confirms, claiming he was struck by falling glass, but his eyes flicker toward Clara, who clutches her locket tighter. Poirot's attention shifts to Miss Clara Beaumont. "Mademoiselle, you were cataloguing star charts that night. Did you see anyone near the map before the chaos?" Clara stammers, her cheeks flushing, insisting she was too busy to notice. Yet Poirot catches her glance at Sir Reginald, who lounges with a smug grin, polishing his thorn-engraved cufflinks. -1, Poirot notes silently. "Sir Reginald," Poirot says smoothly, "you arrived uninvited, yet you seem most at ease. Why come to a gala you were not expected at?" Reginald chuckles, admitting his passion for rare artifacts, hinting he'd offered to buy the map weeks ago, only to be rebuffed by Lady Amelia. The detective paces, his polished shoes clicking on the marble floor. He proposes a theory aloud, testing reactions. Perhaps the map was not stolen, but hidden to create a diversion. Or perhaps it was destroyed in the shatter, non? Gasps ripple through the room. Lady Amelia protests, her voice shrill, insisting the map's loss would ruin her family's legacy. Hale mutters about academic disgrace, while Clara bites her lip and Reginald's smirk widens. Poirot's little gray cells hum. Someone knows more than they admit, and the key lies in the night's timeline. Wilkins, prompted by Poirot, recounts the gala sequence. Guests mingled, champagne flowed, and at precisely 10:17 p.m., the dome shattered, plunging the room into panic. Guests fled, and the map vanished. Poirot seizes on the timing, asking who was where when the crash occurred. Lady Amelia claims she was greeting guests near the entrance. Hale, as mentioned, was at the telescope. Clara says she was in a side room fetching charts. Reginald, conveniently, was admiring the architecture near the dome's base. Poirot's mustache twitches. Someone's account doesn't align, but he keeps his thoughts veiled. To shake the group, Poirot requests access to the observatory's logbooks, where staff record telescope alignments and visitor entries. Hale hesitates, citing confidentiality, but Lady Amelia, eager to prove her innocence, overrides him. The logbook, heavy with leather binding, reveals a curious entry, a late-night access request 2 days prior, signed by an unknown initial, J.B. No one in the room claims the initials, and the tension thickens, like fog rolling in. Poirot flips further, finding a note about a special delivery of equipment. A crate of lenses, supposedly, but the delivery date matches the galenite. Could it hide something more? As midnight approaches, Poirot ventures outside, the chill air biting through his overcoat. He circles the observatory, torch in hand, searching for external clues. Near a service door, he finds fresh tire marks in the mud, too wide for the Rolls-Royce that brought him. A second vehicle, perhaps, used in the theft. Nearby, a discarded cigarette butt, still faintly warm, bears a foreign brand, Turkish, rare in these parts. Poirot pockets it, his mind racing. Was an outsider involved, or is this a plant to mislead? Returning inside, Poirot overhears a hushed argument between Clara and Hale in a corridor. "You promised it would be safe," Clara whispers, her voice trembling. Hale hisses back, "Keep quiet or we're both done for." They freeze as Poirot clears his throat, stepping into view with a polite smile. "Pardon, mes amis, but secrets whispered in shadows are seldom safe." Clara flees, and Hale storms off, leaving Poirot to ponder their connection. Is Clara a pawn, or does her locket hold more than sentimental value? The chapter closes with Poirot alone in the observatory's library, surrounded by star charts and dusty tomes. He lights a small lamp, its glow illuminating a sketch of the celestial map from a reference book. A constellation shaped like a broken crown, rumored to mark a lost treasure from an ancient empire. Poirot's fingers trace the lines, his mind weaving connections between the map, the shatter, and the players in this drama. The night grows darker, and a faint creak echoes from the dome above, as if the observatory itself guards its secrets jealously. The stage is set for deeper revelations as Poirot's investigation tightens its grip on the truth.
Chapter 3. Whispers of the Past. The Eldridge Observatory looms under a moonless sky, its broken dome a silent witness to the night's secrets. Hercule Poirot, his silhouette sharp against the flickering lamplight, sits in the library, surrounded by ancient volumes in the faint scent and aged paper. The sketch of the celestial map, with its broken crown constellation, burns in his mind, hinting at riches and motives far beyond a simple theft. Tonight, Poirot delves into the observatory's history and the Eldridge family's shadowed legacy, uncovering ties that bind the present suspects to a past steeped in ambition and betrayal. Each step forward reveals new layers, and the air grows heavy with the weight of truths long buried. Poirot begins by examining the library's archives, seeking the origins of the celestial map. He finds a journal, its leather cover cracked with age, penned by Lord Cornelius Eldridge, Lady Amelia's late husband, who built the observatory decades ago. The entries describe his obsession with the constellation, known as Corona Fracta, believed to mark a treasure hidden during a 17th-century war. Cornelius wrote of a secret society, the Order of the Saffron Veil, who guarded the map's location, passing it through generations. Poirot's moustache twitches. Could this society still exist, with members among the suspects? He cross-references the journal with a guest list from the gala, noting Sir Reginald Thorne's name circled in Cornelius's hand, dated years ago during a failed business deal. Reginald, it seems, once tried to fund the observatory in exchange for access to its artifacts, only to be refused. A grudge, perhaps. Poirot tucks the journal under his arm, determined to confront Reginald later. For now, he seeks Lady Amelia, finding her in the conservatory, tending to orchids under dim lantern light. Her hands tremble as she clips a stem, betraying her calm facade. "Madame," Poirot begins, his tone gentle but probing, "this map, it was your husband's pride, no? Tell Poirot of its history." Amelia's eyes cloud with memory. She speaks of Cornelius's quest to decipher the map, his late-night experiments in the dome, and whispers of a rival who swore vengeance after being excluded from the discovery. She stops short, refusing to name the rival, but Poirot notes her glance toward a portrait of Cornelius, his face stern, a saffron-colored scarf pinned to his lapel. The order again. Poirot shifts tactics, visiting the observatory's workshop, where Dr. Victor Hale oversees repairs. Tools clatter as Hale, still bandaged, adjusts a telescope lens. Poirot questions him about the mysterious JB from the logbook. Hale's face tightens, claiming it's likely a clerical error, but his voice betrays a tremor. Poirot presses further, mentioning the burnt metal scent near the dome. Hale snaps, probably from the machinery, too quick, too defensive. Poirot smiles thinly, filing away the reaction, and notices a workbench drawer ajar, revealing a vial of oil matching the grease on the glass shard he found earlier. Next, Poirot seeks Miss Clara Beaumont, finding her in the staff quarters, scribbling in a notebook. Her locket swings as she startles, slamming the book shut. "Mademoiselle," Poirot says, "your loyalty to Dr. Hale is admirable, but what do you hide?" Clara insists she's merely an assistant, but Poirot spots a sketch in her notebook, a crude replica of the Corona Fracta constellation. She claims it's for cataloguing, but her flushed cheeks tell another story. Poirot lets her go, sensing she's a thread that needs gentle pulling. Outside, Poirot retraces the tire marks by the service door, now joined by Captain Hastings, who's arrived after a delayed train. Hastings, ever eager, suggests a getaway car, but Poirot shakes his head. "No, mon ami, these marks are too deliberate, too close to the door. A distraction, perhaps." He finds a scrap of fabric caught on a thorn bush nearby. Saffron yellow, like Cornelius's scarf. The order of the saffron veil feels closer, its shadow stretching over the suspects. Back inside, Poirot gathers the group in the drawing room, holding up the scrap of fabric. "This, Miss Amie, was found near the service door. Does it belong to anyone here?" Silence falls, but Sir Reginald's smirk falters, and Clara's hand flies to her locket. Lady Amelia gasps, claiming it resembles a relic from her husband's study, kept under lock and key. Poirot announces he'll inspect the study next, watching their faces for tells. Hale shifts uncomfortably, and Reginald lights a Turkish cigarette, matching the butt Poirot found. In Cornelius's study, Poirot finds a locked safe, its combination unknown. Amelia provides a key, but the safe is empty, save for a single note. The crown is broken, but the veil endures. The orders mark again. Poirot's mind races. Did someone steal the map to protect the society's secrets, or to claim the treasure for themselves? He notices a faint scratch on the safe's edge, suggesting it was forced open recently, perhaps during the gala's chaos. As the night deepens, a scream pierces the observatory. Poirot and Hastings rush to the dome, finding Clara crumpled on the floor, a telescope toppled beside her. She's unharmed, but shaken, claiming she saw a figure in a hooded cloak fleeing into the shadows. "It whispered my name," she sobs, clutching her locket. Poirot examines the scene, finding no footprints, but a fresh smudge of grease on the telescope's base, identical to the shards he found earlier. Someone is watching, manipulating the stage. The chapter ends with Poirot standing under the shattered dome, stars glaring down like accusing eyes. The order of the saffron veil,
the celestial map, and the suspect's hidden ties form a constellation of deceit. Each clue tightens the noose, but danger stalks closer, and Poirot knows the next move could unravel everything or lead to disaster. The observatory holds its breath, waiting for the truth to break free.
Chapter 4. The Locket's Secret. The Eldridge Observatory stands cloaked in the pre-dawn mist, its shattered dome a jagged wound against the fading stars. Hercule Poirot, his mind a whirl of connections, stands in the dome chamber where Clara's scream still echoes. The hooded figure, the grease smudge, and the saffron fabric weave a tangled web, but Poirot's focus sharpens on Miss Clara Beaumont, whose locket seems to pulse with unspoken truths. This chapter plunges into Clara's past, her ties to the observatory's secrets, and a startling discovery that shifts the investigation's course. The air crackles with tension as Poirot edges closer to the heart of the mystery. Poirot escorts Clara to the library, her face pale as she clutches her locket. He seats her gently, his voice soft but insistent. "Mademoiselle, this locket, it is more than a keepsake, oui? Tell Poirot what it hides." Clara's eyes dart, but under his steady gaze she relents. With trembling fingers she opens the locket, revealing a tiny photograph of a man with sharp features and a saffron scarf. "My father," she whispers, "Jonathan Beaumont. He worked here years ago, under Lord Cornelius." Poirot leans closer, noting the resemblance to the portrait in Amelia's study. A family connection, perhaps? Clara's story unfolds haltingly. Her father was an astronomer, obsessed with the Corona Fracta constellation, assisting Cornelius in mapping its secrets. But a falling out drove him away, leaving Clara to grow up in poverty, her mother bitter over lost promises. When Clara joined the observatory staff, she hoped to reclaim her father's legacy. "He left me this locket," she says, "and a warning, trust no one in the order." Poirot's eyes narrow. The initials J.B. in the logbook now point to Jonathan Beaumont, not a living suspect, but a ghost from the past. Determined to trace Jonathan's role, Poirot returns to the study with Captain Hastings, who's buzzing with theories about secret societies. They search for more of Jonathan's records, finding a hidden drawer in Cornelius's desk. Inside lies a bundle of letters, yellowed and tied with a saffron ribbon. The letters, penned by Jonathan to Cornelius, speak of a breakthrough in decoding the celestial map, but also of betrayal. Cornelius claimed sole credit, ousting Jonathan. One letter mentions a safeguard hidden in the observatory, a clue to the map's true purpose. Poirot pockets the letters, sensing they hold the key to the theft. He confronts Lady Amelia in the drawing room, where she sips tea with forced calm. "Madame, you knew Jonathan Beaumont. Why conceal his role?" Amelia's cup rattles in its saucer. She admits Jonathan was brilliant, but unstable, claiming he stole observatory funds before vanishing. Poirot doubts her. Her lavender scent, matching the anonymous note, suggests deeper involvement. He presses, asking about the order of the saffron veil. Amelia pales, insisting it's a myth, but her fingers twist her handkerchief, betraying unease. Meanwhile, Poirot sends Hastings to investigate the service door's tire marks further. Hastings returns breathless with a discovery: a hidden garage behind the observatory containing a motorcycle with fresh mud on its tires, matching the tracks. The bike's saddlebag holds a single item, a torn page from an astronomical journal, detailing the Corona Fracta's alignment with a specific date, tonight. Poirot's mind races. The theft may be timed to this celestial event, a window to unlock the treasure's location. Returning to Dr. Hale, he finds him in the workshop, dismantling a telescope with unusual haste. "Monsieur, this urgency to repair, does it hide something?" Hale bristles, claiming he's salvaging equipment, but Poirot notices a small key dangling from Hale's pocket, engraved with a thorn motif. A match for Sir Reginald's cufflinks?
Poirot feigns distraction, allowing Hale to slip away, then inspects the telescope. Hidden inside its base is a compartment, empty but lined with saffron fabric. A hiding place for the map, perhaps, accessed during the gala's chaos. Poirot reunites with Clara, showing her the journal page. Her eyes widen. It's her father's handwriting, describing a mechanism in the dome that aligns with the corona fracta, revealing a hidden chamber. "He never told me," she murmurs, but her voice carries a mix of awe and fear. Poirot decides to test the mechanism tonight, under the constellation's peak. He gathers the suspects in the dome, announcing his plan to recreate the gala's conditions, watching their reactions. Sir Reginald lights another Turkish cigarette, his eyes gleaming with interest. Hale fidgets, his bandages slipping to reveal unscarred hands. Amelia grips her chair, and Clara's locket trembles against her chest. As the group disperses, Poirot lingers, examining the pedestal where the map once stood. He finds a faint seam, suggesting a hidden panel, but it's locked. The thorn-engraved key might fit, but confronting Hale or Reginald now risks tipping his hand. Instead, he stations Hastings to watch the garage, suspecting another attempt to flee. The night grows still, the stars aligning above the shattered dome. Poirot feels the weight of unseen eyes, as if the hooded figure lurks nearby, waiting to strike. The chapter closes with Poirot standing alone in the dome, the constellation's light filtering through the broken glass. Clara's locket, her father's letters, and the hidden mechanism form a constellation of their own, pointing to a truth buried in jealousy and ambition. But as the stars reach their zenith, a low hum echoes from the dome's machinery, and a shadow moves in the rafters. The game is afoot, and Poirot must move swiftly before the next secret claims a victim.
Chapter 5. The Constellation's Whisper. The Eldridge Observatory hums with an eerie stillness, the shattered dome framing the Corona Fracta constellation as it reaches its zenith. Hercule Poirot stands poised beneath the broken glass, his sharp eyes scanning the machinery above, where a faint hum signals the activation of a hidden mechanism. The air is charged with anticipation as the secrets of the celestial map draw closer to revelation. This chapter follows Poirot as he orchestrates a daring experiment to unlock the observatory's hidden chamber, testing the suspect's nerves and unmasking new layers of deception. The night pulses with danger, and every creak of the dome feels like a warning. Poirot gathers the suspects, Lady Amelia, Dr. Hale, Miss Clara, and Sir Reginald, in the dome chamber, their faces lit by the starlight streaming through the jagged ceiling. He announces his plan: to align the observatory's main telescope with the Corona Fracta, as described in Jonathan Beaumont's journal page, to trigger the mechanism that may reveal the map's hiding place. "Mes amis," he says, his voice steady, "tonight we shall let the stars speak." Lady Amelia's lips tighten, Hale's eyes dart to the telescope, Clara clutches her locket, and Reginald's smirk is a shade too forced. Poirot notes each reaction, his little gray cells weaving their silent tapestry. He directs Dr. Hale to operate the telescope. Knowing Hale's familiarity with the equipment makes him the least likely to sabotage it openly. Hale, his hands now suspiciously unbandaged, adjusts the controls with a scowl, aligning the lens to the constellation's coordinates. The machinery groans, and a low rumble vibrates through the floor. Poirot watches closely, spotting a panel in the pedestal beginning to shift, its seam glowing faintly in the starlight. The suspects lean forward, their breaths held, but before the panel fully opens, a loud clang echoes from the rafters and a metal rod crashes to the floor, narrowly missing Clara. Chaos erupts. Clara screams, Amelia gasps, and Reginald steps back, his cigarette dropping to the ground. Hale curses, claiming a loose bolt, but Poirot's eyes are on the rafters, where a shadow flickers and vanishes. "Remain calm," he commands, sending Hastings to investigate the upper walkways. Hastings returns, reporting no one there, but finding a fresh scratch on the railing, as if something or someone was dragged. Poirot pockets the rod, noting its polished surface bears no rust, suggesting it was deliberately dislodged. Undeterred,
Poirot resumes the experiment, urging Hale to continue. The pedestal's panel clicks open, revealing a small compartment, but it's empty, save for a single saffron thread tangled in the hinges. The map is gone, but the compartment's existence confirms Jonathan's notes. Poirot turns to Clara, whose eyes are wide with recognition. "Mademoiselle, your father designed this. Oui." She admits, Jonathan spoke of a star-locked vault to protect the map from unworthy hands. But who opened it, and when? Poirot shifts focus to Sir Reginald, whose thorn-engraved cufflink and Turkish cigarettes link him to the clues outside. "Monsieur, you seem most interested in this vault. Did you know of its existence?" Reginald laughs, claiming ignorance, but his fingers brush his cuff, where the missing button's absence is glaring. Poirot presses, mentioning the cigarette butt by the service door. Reginald's composure cracks, and he admits to stepping outside during the gala for a smoke, but insists he saw nothing suspicious. Poirot's smile is razor-thin. He knows a half-truth when he hears one. Lady Amelia, growing agitated, demands the experiment stop, citing danger to the observatory. Poirot observes her closely, noting her lavender scent lingers near the pedestal, as if she inspected it recently. "Madame, you fear what this vault reveals. Is it the map, or something more?" She denies involvement, but her voice wavers, and Poirot recalls the empty safe in Cornelius's study. Did she move the map before the gala, anticipating trouble? To test his theory, Poirot requests the observatory's maintenance logs, hoping to trace recent activity near the dome. Wilkins fetches them, and Poirot finds an entry dated the night before the gala, noting emergency repairs by an unnamed technician. The log mentions a crate of special lenses stored in the workshop, the same crate from the gala's delivery. Poirot and Hastings investigate the workshop, finding the crate half open, its contents not lenses but a collection of tools, including a crowbar with grease stains matching the dome's shards. As dawn's first light creeps through the broken dome, Poirot reconvenes the group, holding up the crowbar. This, mes amis, was used to force the vault or the safe, perhaps both. Who among you handled it? Silence falls, but Hale's jaw tightens and Clara's gaze drops to her locket. Poirot decides to push further, asking Wilkins about the hooded figure Clara saw. Wilkins hesitates, then admits seeing a cloaked shadow near the garage the night before, but assumed it was a groundskeeper. Poirot's mind sparks. The motorcycle, the figure, the crowbar, all point to an orchestrated plan. Before he can question further, a loud crack splits the air, and the telescope lurches, its gears grinding to a halt. Hale rushes to inspect it, but Poirot notices a small device wedged in the mechanism, a timer, rigged to jam the gears at the constellation's peak. Someone sabotaged the experiment, but the device is crude, unlike the precision of the vault. Poirot removes it, his gloved hands careful, and finds a faint engraving. A thorn. Reginald's smirk is gone now, replaced by a bead of sweat. The chapter ends with Poirot standing by the telescope, the timer in his hand, the suspects' faces a gallery of guilt and fear. The vault's emptiness, the sabotaged telescope, and the hooded figure weave a net tightening around the truth. The corona fracta shines above, its broken crown a mirror to the fractured alliances below. Poirot knows the next move will test his cunning as the observatory's secrets edge closer to the light, and danger waits in the wings.
Chapter 6. The Thorn's Edge. The Eldridge Observatory's dome chamber glows faintly with dawn's light, the shattered glass above casting fractured patterns across the floor. Hercule Poirot holds the sabotaged timer, its thorn engraving glinting like an accusation. The suspects, Lady Amelia, Dr. Hale, Miss Clara, and Sir Reginald, stand frozen, their masks of innocence cracking under Poirot's relentless gaze. The empty vault and the jammed telescope have raised the stakes, pointing to a conspiracy deeper than a mere theft. This chapter follows Poirot as he zeroes in on Sir Reginald's secrets, unravels the thorn motif's significance, and faces a dangerous escalation that threatens to derail the investigation. The observatory pulses with hidden truths, and every step forward feels like a dance on a razor's edge. Poirot pockets the timer, his eyes locked on Sir Reginald, whose usual smirk has vanished. "Monsieur Ton," Poirot says, his voice sharp as a blade, "this thorn design, your cufflinks, your cigarette case, and now this device. Explain." Reginald shifts, lighting another Turkish cigarette with a trembling hand. He claims the thorn is a family crest, nothing more, and denies knowledge of the timer. But Poirot notices his fingers linger on the cigarette case, its lid engraved with the same symbol found near the service door. A pattern emerges, and Poirot senses Reginald's role is central to the night's chaos. To test his theory, Poirot requests a private word with Reginald in the observatory's map room, a cluttered space filled with star charts and nautical instruments. As they speak, Poirot casually mentions the torn journal page about the Corona Fracta's alignment. Reginald's eyes flicker with recognition, but he insists he's only a collector, drawn to the map's monetary value. Poirot presses, "And yet, monsieur, you arrived uninvited, smoked by the service door, and carry a crest matching our clues. Coincidence?" Reginald's laugh is hollow, and he mutters about old debts before clamming up. Poirot files away the phrase, sensing a motive tied to the past. Meanwhile, Captain Hastings, stationed at the garage, reports a new discovery: a hidden compartment in the motorcycle's saddlebag containing a folded sketch of the observatory's layout with the vault's location marked. The sketch is unsigned, but its ink matches the logbook's JB entry. Poirot wonders if Reginald, not Jonathan Beaumont, forged the initials to cover his tracks. He sends Hastings to cross-check the sketch against the observatory's blueprints, hoping to uncover alterations that might reveal a secondary hiding place. Returning to the dome, Poirot finds Lady Amelia alone, staring at the shattered glass. Her lavender scent is strong, and he confronts her about the anonymous note that summoned him. "Madame, your perfume betrays you. Did you call Poirot here to solve a crime or to divert suspicion?" Amelia's eyes flash with defiance. She admits to sending the note, claiming she feared the map's theft would ruin her family's name, but denies involvement in the sabotage. Poirot notes her clenched fists. Fear, not guilt, he thinks. But of what? Dr. Hale interrupts, his face flushed, demanding to know why the investigation lingers. Poirot turns the question back to Hale, pointing to his unscarred hands. "Monsieur, your bandages were a ruse, oui? Why pretend injury?" Hale stammers, claiming he healed quickly, but Poirot spots a grease stain on his sleeve, linking him to the crowbar and telescope sabotage. Hale storms off, muttering about finishing what was started, and Poirot resolves to shadow him closely. Clara, meanwhile, lingers near the pedestal, her locket open as she studies the vault's empty compartment. Poirot approaches, his tone gentle. "Mademoiselle, your father's mechanism is ingenious, but someone knew its secret. Who?" Clara hesitates, then whispers that she overheard Hale and Reginald arguing before the gala about dividing the spoils. Poirot's mustache twitches. Collusion between the astronomer and the collector. He asks Clara to keep watch on the dome while he investigates Hale's quarters. In Hale's room, Poirot finds a locked briefcase, its clasp engraved with a thorn. Forcing it open with a letter opener, he discovers a bundle of cash and a coded note. "Crown secured. Meet at midnight. Thorn's Edge." The phrase echoes Reginald's old debts, suggesting a partnership turned sour. Poirot pockets the note, but as he leaves, a floorboard creaks behind him. He spins, narrowly dodging a heavy bookend hurled from the shadows. The attacker flees, leaving only a saffron thread caught on the doorframe. Rushing back to the dome, Poirot finds Clara shaken, claiming the hooded figure appeared again, whispering, "The crown is mine," before vanishing into the service corridor. Poirot and Hastings follow, finding the corridor's door ajar, leading to a narrow staircase descending into the observatory's basement. The air grows cold, and a faint hum, similar to the dome's machinery, echoes below. Poirot hesitates, sensing a trap, but the coded note's midnight looms, and the clock shows only minutes remain. In the basement, they discover a locked steel door, its frame scratched as if recently forced.
Using the thorn-engraved key from Hale's pocket, Poirot unlocks it, revealing a small chamber lined with star charts and a single table. On it lies a fragment of the celestial map, its edges charred, as if burned to conceal its secrets. The Corona Fracta's outline is clear, but a section is missing, torn away. Poirot's mind races. Someone tried to destroy the map, but why leave this piece? As they examine the fragment, a muffled thud echoes above, followed by a scream. Rushing back to the dome, they find Amelia slumped against the pedestal, a bruise blooming on her temple. She murmurs, "They took it. The rest," before fainting. The map fragment is gone from the basement, and Reginald is missing. Poirot's eyes narrow. The thorn's edge is sharp, and the game has turned deadly. The chapter closes with Poirot kneeling beside Amelia, the observatory's shadows deepening around him. The charred map fragment, the coded note, and the hooded figure point to a conspiracy racing toward its climax. Midnight approaches, and Poirot must outwit a cunning foe before the Corona Fracta's secrets are lost forever or claimed at a bloody cost.
Chapter 7. The Midnight Reckoning. The Eldridge Observatory trembles under the weight of its secrets, the shattered dome casting eerie shadows as midnight nears. Hercule Poirot kneels beside Lady Amelia, her faint pulse a stark reminder of the danger closing in. The stolen map fragment, Sir Reginald's disappearance, and the hooded figure's taunts form a deadly puzzle. This chapter tracks Poirot's race against time to intercept the conspirators at the thorn's edge, uncovering a betrayal that threatens to unravel the observatory's legacy. The stars above burn coldly, and every tick of the clock pulls Poirot deeper into a web of treachery. Poirot revives Amelia with a splash of water from a nearby decanter, her eyes fluttering open. She whispers of a struggle in the dome, a cloaked figure snatching the map fragment before striking her. "They spoke of the thorn's edge," she murmurs, her voice frail. Poirot's mind flashes to the coded note from Hale's briefcase, midnight, thorn's edge. He checks his pocket watch. 10 minutes remain. Leaving Amelia with Clara for safety, he beckons Captain Hastings to follow him to the service corridor, suspecting it leads to the rendezvous point. The corridor's staircase descends into the observatory's underbelly, where the hum of machinery grows louder. Poirot's torch cuts through the darkness, revealing a network of pipes and forgotten storage rooms. At the end, a rusted door bears a faint thorn scratched on its surface, the meeting place. Poirot signals Hastings to stay quiet, his ears catching low voices beyond the door. He recognizes Dr. Hale's sharp tone and another smoother, Reginald's. "You promised me half," Hale hisses. Reginald's reply is cold. "The order decides, not you." Poirot's pulse quickens. The Order of the Saffron Veil is no myth, and its agents are here. Easing the door open, Poirot peers into a dimly lit chamber where Hale and Reginald stand over a crate, the map fragment spread before them. Its charred edges glow under a lantern, revealing a partial sketch of the Corona Fracta, with coordinates pointing to a nearby hill. Reginald holds a second piece, torn but intact, and slots it into place, completing the constellation. "The treasure's vault," he murmurs, "hidden beneath the ridge." Hale demands his share, but Reginald laughs, drawing a small pistol. The order rewards loyalty, not greed. Poirot steps forward, his voice cutting through the tension. "Messieurs, the game is up. Drop the weapon." Reginald spins, his pistol wavering, but Hale lunges, knocking it away. The two grapple, and the map fragments scatter across the floor. Hastings dives in, pinning Hale, while Poirot retrieves the pistol, his calm unshaken. "The thorn's edge is a fitting place for betrayal," he says, binding Reginald's wrists with a cord from the crate.
Hale, panting, claims he was coerced, but Poirot's eyes are unforgiving. Grease on Hale's hands ties him to the sabotage. With the suspects secured, Poirot examines the completed map. The coordinates align with a ridge visible from the observatory, where an ancient oak marks the spot. He suspects the treasure, a relic of the Order's wealth, is buried there, but the hooded figure's absence nags him. Was it Reginald, or Hale, or a third player? He sends Hastings to fetch Wilkins, instructing him to guard the prisoners, while Poirot and Clara head to Amelia's quarters to check her condition and search for clues. In Amelia's room, Poirot finds a hidden diary beneath her pillow, its pages detailing her fear of the Order's resurgence. She writes of Cornelius's death, not from illness, but poison, administered by an unknown hand after he refused to share the map's secrets. A chilling entry mentions a veiled guardian watching the observatory, possibly the hooded figure. Poirot's mind races. Amelia's note summoned him to expose the Order, but her silence about Cornelius's murder suggests she's protecting someone. Clara, hovering nearby, confesses she recognized the thorn symbol from her father's stories. He said the Order marked their tools with it to claim their work. Poirot nods, connecting the thorn-engraved key, cufflink, and timer to the Order's operatives. He suspects Reginald is a high-ranking member, but Hale's role, greedy accomplice or reluctant pawn, remains unclear. As they return to the dome, Wilkins reports a disturbance. The motorcycle is gone from the garage, its tracks leading toward the ridge. Poirot, Clara, and Hastings hurry to the ridge, a wind-swept hill under the fading stars. The ancient oak looms, its roots gnarled like grasping hands. Poirot spots fresh earth near its base, as if recently dug. Using a branch, he probes the soil, uncovering a metal box sealed with a thorn-embossed lock. Before he can open it, a rustle in the bushes halts him. The hooded figure emerges, face obscured, holding the missing map fragment. "You're too late, Poirot," it hisses, voice distorted. A glint of steel flashes, a knife, and Poirot ducks as it swings. Hastings tackles the figure, but it slips free, vanishing into the mist. The knife, left behind, bears the thorn mark. Poirot opens the box, finding gold coins and a scroll inscribed with the Order's creed. The veil hides, the thorn protects. The treasure is real, but the map's theft was a ruse to draw attention from this cache. Poirot realizes the hooded figure is still at large, manipulating events to reclaim the Order's prize. The chapter closes with Poirot clutching the scroll, the ridge silent but for the wind's howl. Reginald and Hale are in custody, but the hooded figures escape and Amelia's secrets loom large. The Order's reach extends beyond the observatory, and Poirot must unravel its final threads before the dawn breaks, or risk losing the truth to the shadows forever.
Chapter 9. The Final Thread. The Eldridge Observatory stands hushed in the pre-dawn gloom, its shattered dome a silent witness to the unraveling conspiracy. Hercule Poirot, his mind a whirl of revelations, clutches the treasure box, its scroll and coins a testament to the Order of the Saffron Veil's enduring power. Lady Amelia and Wilkins, unmasked as conspirators, sit bound in the drawing room, their confessions exposing a fractured order, torn by greed and loyalty. Yet the shadow of Cornelius's poisoner looms, and Clara's locket holds the final key to the mystery. This chapter follows Poirot as he weaves the last threads of the puzzle, confronting Clara and chasing the truth to a perilous climax under the fading stars. Poirot gathers the remaining players, Clara, Hastings, and the detained Amelia and Wilkins, in the dome chamber where the Corona Fracta's light still filters through the broken glass. His green eyes lock onto Clara,
whose fingers tremble around her locket. "Mademoiselle," he says, his voice gentle but unyielding, "your father's legacy has guided us, but you hide one final truth. The locket. Open it again." Clara hesitates, her breath catching, but under Poirot's steady gaze, she clicks it open. Inside, nestled beside her father's photograph, is a tiny key, thorn-etched, its design matching the treasure box's lock. The room tenses. Amelia gasps, and Wilkins strains against his bonds. Clara's voice shakes as she explains. "Father gave it to me before he disappeared. He said it was for the final vault, to protect the order's heart." Poirot takes the key, fitting it into the box's lock. It clicks, revealing a hidden compartment beneath the coins, a folded parchment, the true celestial map, uncharred and complete. Its ink gleams with coordinates and a cipher, detailing a vault beneath the observatory itself, not the ridge. The fragments were decoys, meant to mislead. Poirot turns to Clara, piecing together her role. "You knew the map was here, oui? Yet you played the innocent." Clara's eyes brim with tears. She admits she suspected the map's hiding place, but feared the order's wrath. Her father, Jonathan Beaumont, was no traitor. He was the order's last guardian, poisoned by a council member when he refused to reveal the map. Clara joined the observatory to find the truth, using her locket's key as leverage. "I overheard Reginald and Hale plotting, but I didn't know Amelia was involved until tonight." Poirot's mind races, connecting Cornelius's poison to the order's counsel. Amelia's diary hinted at a traitor, and Wilkins' ring marked him as a member, but the poisoner's identity remains elusive. He questions Amelia again, his tone sharp. "Madame, you named no poisoner, but the council has 5 members. Reginald, Hale, Wilkins, you, and one more." Amelia's lips quiver, but she shakes her head, silent. Wilkins, however, snarls, "You'll never find them, Poirot. The veil protects its own." Sensing time is short, Poirot examines the map's cipher, a series of numbers aligned with the Corona Fracta's stars. He decodes it with Hastings' help, revealing a sequence to activate a hidden vault beneath the dome's pedestal. Poirot directs Hastings to press a series of panels in the pedestal's base, following the cipher's order. The floor rumbles, and a trapdoor opens, revealing a spiral staircase descending into darkness. The true vault lies below, but Poirot suspects a trap. The poisoner may be waiting. Leaving Wilkins and Amelia under Hastings' watch, Poirot and Clara descend, her locket's key in hand. The staircase leads to a stone chamber, its walls carved with thorn motifs and saffron-dyed tapestries. At its center stands a locked chest, its lid engraved with the Corona Fracta. Clara's key fits perfectly, and the chest opens to reveal gold, jewels, and a ledger listing the order's members across centuries. Among the names is a recent addition, Margaret Hale, Dr. Hale's sister, a chemist who vanished years ago. Poirot's mustache twitches. She's the 5th council member, the poisoner. A faint click echoes behind them. Poirot spins, spotting a figure in the shadows, Margaret Hale, her face gaunt, holding a vial of liquid that smells of bitter almonds. "You've found the heart, Poirot," she hisses, "but it stays buried." Clara screams as Margaret lunges, but Poirot sidesteps, knocking the vial away. It shatters, its fumes stinging the air. Margaret flees up the staircase, and Poirot pursues, Clara close behind. In the dome, Hastings grapples with a freed Wilkins, who broke loose in the chaos. Margaret reaches the rafters, her saffron cloak billowing, and aims a pistol at Poirot. "Enough," Poirot shouts, his voice commanding. "The order is finished, Madame Hale. Your brother, Reginald, Amelia, Wilkins, all are exposed." Margaret laughs, her eyes wild, admitting she poisoned Cornelius and Jonathan to protect the Order's wealth. She rigged the dome's explosion to frame Reginald, hoping to seize the treasure alone. But her aim falters, and Hastings, recovering, tackles her from behind. The pistol clatters to the floor, and Clara binds Margaret's wrists with a tapestry cord. With the conspirators secured, Poirot returns to the vault, retrieving the ledger. It confirms Margaret's role and lists the Order's final assets, hidden across Europe. The celestial map was the key to their network, its theft a power play among rivals. Poirot seals the chest, entrusting it to Clara, whose father's legacy is now clear. You are the true guardian, mademoiselle, but choose justice over vengeance. The chapter closes with Poirot standing under the shattered dome, the first rays of dawn breaking through. The Order's council is broken. Reginald, Hale, Amelia, Wilkins, and Margaret face justice, but the observatory scars remain. Clara holds the ledger, her locket gleaming, as Poirot prepares to tie the final knot in this tangled web. One last reckoning awaits, to ensure the truth shines brighter than the stars.
Chapter 10. The Stars Unveiled. The Eldridge Observatory bathes in the golden light of dawn, its shattered dome glinting like a broken crown under the rising sun. Hercule Poirot stands in the grand dome chamber, the treasure box and ledger at his side, surrounded by the bound conspirators, Lady Amelia, Dr. Victor Hale, Sir Reginald Thorne, Wilkins, and Margaret Hale. Clara Beaumont, clutching her father's locket, stands resolute, her eyes fixed on the celestial map that sparked this deadly game. The Order of the Saffron Veil's secrets lie exposed, but one final reckoning remains to tie every thread, motives, betrayals, and murders into a tapestry of truth. This chapter unveils every hidden truth, as Poirot's little gray cells bring the mystery to its dazzling close, leaving no shadow unlit. Poirot gathers everyone in the dome, the morning light casting long shadows across the suspects' weary faces. Captain Hastings stands guard, his usual bluster replaced by grim determination. Poirot holds up the celestial map, its Corona Fracta constellation shimmering in the sunlight, and begins, his voice clear and commanding. Mes amis, the secrets of the shattered observatory are no longer veiled. The Order of the Saffron Veil, its treasure, and its crimes are laid bare. Let Poirot reveal all. He starts with the map's theft, the spark that ignited the chaos. The celestial map, he says, was never stolen. It was hidden by Lady Amelia, who rigged the dome's explosion to create a diversion. Amelia's head bows, her confession from the previous night confirmed. She admits she shattered the dome with a small explosive, hoping to frame Reginald and Hale for theft, while she secured the map in the pedestal's vault. Her motive was to protect the Order's legacy, believing herself its true guardian after Cornelius's death. But Madame, Poirot adds, you sent the anonymous note to summon Poirot, oui? You feared the Order's collapse and needed an outsider to expose its traitors. Amelia nods, her lavender-scented handkerchief crumpled in her hands. Poirot turns to Sir Reginald, whose thorn-etched cufflinks and cigarette case marked his role. Monsieur Thorne, you sought the map for profit, no? Your old debts were to the Order, which you betrayed by plotting to sell its secrets. Reginald's smirk is gone. He confesses to sneaking into the dome during the gala, using the chaos to search the vault, but found it empty. His Turkish cigarette butt by the service door and the thorn-engraved timer on the telescope were his attempts to sabotage Amelia's plan, hoping to seize the treasure for himself. The Order owed me, he snarls, after years of servitude. Dr. Hale, his face ashen, is next. Poirot points to the grease stains on his sleeve, linking him to the crowbar and telescope sabotage. Monsieur, you were no mere pawn. You colluded with Reginald, driven by greed, but your sister, Margaret, pulled the strings.
Hale admits he knew of the map's value and worked with Reginald to steal it, using his observatory access to plant the timer. But he claims ignorance of Margaret's deeper role, his voice breaking as he realizes her betrayal. Margaret Hale, the veiled guardian, glares from her bounds. Poirot holds up the thorn-etched knife and the ledger from the vault. "Madame, you are the 5th council member, the poisoner of Cornelius Eldridge and Jonathan Beaumont." Margaret's eyes blaze, but she confesses, her voice cold. As a chemist, she crafted the poison that killed Cornelius when he refused to share the map's secrets, and later Jonathan, Clara's father, when he threatened to expose the order. She orchestrated the map's decoy fragments, manipulating Reginald and Hale to distract from her true goal, securing the vault's treasure for the Order's revival. Her hooded disguise and whispered threats kept the suspects off balance, ensuring her control. Poirot turns to Wilkins, the butler, whose thorn-etched ring marked him as an Order enforcer. "You, monsieur, were Amelia's ally, guarding the observatory's secrets." Wilkins admits to aiding Amelia's explosion, planting the saffron threads to mislead, and attempting to steal the treasure box when Poirot closed in. His loyalty was to Amelia, not Margaret, revealing a schism within the Order's council. We served the veil, but Margaret twisted it for power. Poirot finally addresses Clara, whose locket held the key to the true vault. "Mademoiselle, your father was the Order's last true guardian, killed for his honor." Clara's tears fall as Poirot explains. Jonathan Beaumont designed the pedestal's vault to protect the map, entrusting its key to Clara. She infiltrated the observatory to uncover her father's killer, sketching the Corona Fracta to decode his notes. Her overheard whispers between Hale and Reginald were clues she fed to Poirot, hoping to expose the truth without risking her life. "You are no conspirator," Poirot says, "but a daughter seeking justice." The ledger, Poirot reveals, lists the Order's assets, gold, jewels, and properties, hidden across Europe, funded by centuries of secret dealings. The Corona Fracta's coordinates, decoded by the map, pinpointed the observatory's vault, not the ridge, as a final safeguard. Margaret's plan was to reclaim the treasure, eliminate her rivals, and rebuild the Order's power. The ridge's box was a decoy, its coins real, but its scroll a fake, meant to lure traitors like Reginald. Poirot unveils the final twist. The hooded figure's attacks were Margaret's desperate bid to silence Clara and Poirot, but her crude timer and knife betrayed her. The observatory's machinery, tampered by Hale, and the shattered dome, rigged by Amelia, were distractions in a deadly game of misdirection. The Order, Poirot declares, destroyed itself through greed and betrayal. The veil is lifted. He hands the ledger and map to Clara, urging her to deliver them to the authorities. "The treasure belongs to justice, mademoiselle, not vengeance." The suspects, now fully exposed, face arrest. Amelia for sabotage, Reginald and Hale for theft and conspiracy, Wilkins for aiding, and Margaret for murder. Poirot's work is done. The observatory's secrets laid bare under the dawn's light. As Hastings escorts the prisoners to the waiting police, Poirot stands alone in the dome, the Corona Fracta fading above. The observatory, once a beacon of discovery, is now a monument to human folly. He adjusts his mustache, satisfied, and murmurs, "The stars, they always reveal the truth." Thank you for joining this thrilling journey through Poirot and the Secrets of the Shattered Observatory. If you've enjoyed unraveling this mystery with us, please like, subscribe, and comment below. Your support means the world and keeps these stories alive. Until the next adventure, au revoir!